Good evening and welcome to Face to Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Aliathambi. Well, great things are expected of Sri Lanka's tech industry as our country tries to move forward on the path of economic recovery and progress. And of course, when we say tech industry, it's a relatively new industry to Sri Lanka. It's not like tea or tourism or apparel, which have been around a very long time. So this industry brings with it massive opportunities, as we see globally, and also many challenges. And to talk about this, to demystify it a little bit, I have with me two eminent persons from SLASCOM, which is, of course, the Sri Lanka Association of Software and Service Companies. And first of all, Chaminda De Silva, Executive Director of SLASCOM. Good evening and welcome, Chaminda.
Good evening. Thank you.
And of course, next to her is Dhaminda Siriwardena, who is the Engineering Forum Lead at SLASCOM. Good evening and welcome to you too.
Good evening.
Right, so let's start with you, Chaminda. Now, this field is moving faster than any field in history, any industry. What we knew 6 months ago is obsolete now. If you haven't kept up with the newest versions of AI and so on, you're far behind. So with this comes massive opportunities, and of course the biggest and richest companies in the world today are tech companies. So how do we jump on this bandwagon, get into this industry, and bring in the investments into Sri Lanka and of course the revenue, Chaminda?
So, like you said, it is a big thing globally, and the basic resource in the tech industry are people, talent.
Absolutely.
So the faster our talent gets upskilled and relearn how they work and how AI can aid others globally. It's across industries, like you said, all the tea, rubber, tourism, garments, everybody needs us. What I meant us was AI. It impacts everybody. So we need to, as Sri Lanka as a nation, the tech industry needs to upskill themselves and have a bigger pool of people who know how to use AI. There's a lot of other things happening at the background, but as SLASCOM, what we have done is this AI Asia Summit that we're having in a couple of days' time, on the 12th of November, actually started in 2018 under the chairmanship of Mr. Jivanyana. So since 2018, every single year, we have moved along the maturity curve. And the summit focuses on different things. So this year, it's about AI in action. Last year was implementation, but this year is how do you use AI in your industry? So there's a lot of knowledge sharing. Globally, there are resources that come down and share their knowledge, as well as industry experts also. SLASCOM has a lot of volunteers from our member companies who also share their knowledge on that.
Right. So let me bring in Dhaminda. As the forum lead of SLASCOM, the engineering forum lead rather, how do you see Sri Lanka's positioning in terms of having that ability, the knowledge, the human resources, which we spoke about earlier? How do you see us positioned at this point in time?
Yeah, so on AI side, there are quite a few experts in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankans abroad as well as in Sri Lanka. So that's what we are trying to kind of showcase in the AI Asia conference that's coming up. But just to answer your question, there are quite a lot of IT companies in Sri Lanka who actually build AI tools. to be consumed by foreigners outside Sri Lanka. Right? These are companies based out of Sri Lanka, and these companies have to resource with Sri Lankan talent. The talent comes from our local universities, the fresh grads who are coming out. So what we do with the engineering forum is we try to kind of share this knowledge that is kind of with these companies, the big companies, and we get these prominent people to come in and do presentations, knowledge sharing sessions to the young engineers as well as the rest of the engineering community that's in Sri Lanka. So through that we try to kind of propagate the knowledge to the rest of the team or the resources that are here. So that's how we kind of work on that side to build the AI knowledge base in Sri Lanka, or the talent base in Sri Lanka. So,
right. So let me follow up with this question. When Western companies, a US company, wants to set up an operation in the subcontinent, and they need perhaps thousands of tech workers, India is of course best positioned because they have so many trained people. Sri Lanka is not. How do we get around this in order to attract foreign investors?
Yes, so I wouldn't say we don't have. We have a handful of experts. I mean, we have people who kind of work with these big companies that are based out of US or even in European states. So these people, like I said, the knowledge propagation is the only way that we could kind of get the resource base up to the skills that are required. And another thing is the AI technology is changing on a daily basis, right? It's hard to keep up with it. There's so much of things that are coming on a daily basis. So in order to keep up with that, obviously the students or the young engineers has to kind of keep up with the latest trends. So they'll have to use their abilities and the know-hows to get this knowledge in. The other area that I see is for us to build is for the industry to kind of help the education institutes, the universities as such, which they have been reaching us saying we need support because it's hands-on, it's more than theory, it's hands-on work as well. So recently in my company as well, there were situations where a lot of good talent were requested, and we were kind of trying to filter out good people, and it's hard to find good potential candidates out of that. So either we take them and train them in-house and get them up to speed. These are different techniques that we use for that.
Now, Chaminda, let me ask you, SLASCOM itself has various training programs, doesn't it? And you guys work with various institutes and with the government on training, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, we do. So even coming up for this AI Asia Summit, the past couple of months, we have a SLASCOM Academy that focuses on upskilling professionals who are within the industry. Like he said, it's quite fast, right, how things change. And so over the last couple of months, we've had for different industries workshops. So we had AI in procurement, AI in logistics, AI in healthcare, AI in manufacturing. There's another one I think coming up next week again on AI after the summit as well. So those are some of the things we do for the professionals. Then with the universities, we started a program in January this year. We call it the Immersive Academia program, where a couple of university lecturers come in and sit at our companies for about 7 to 9 days, and they get practical exposure of how all these tools are used. So that our belief is that they go back and they can teach it to their students, as well as share that knowledge with the other junior lecturers as well. So for the moment we have covered, I think, about 52 university lecturers from across the country. And we will start the next batch in January. We also had AI roundtables following last year's summit, and this year's summit also ends with another roundtable. We had with the academia, we had with industry, just discussing also the potential challenges that everybody has. I think earlier we were talking about how students use AI to do their assignments and papers. So then there was this big discussion of, okay, how do we tackle it? So there's a lot of discussion, and we also work with the government. We have representatives on the different committees, and we give our input as an industry.
Right. Now, you mentioned the education system, and at the moment the government is trying to bring in various reforms to the education system in various areas. What about in technology, in tech? Are you seeing reforms coming up, and is it coming up fast enough? Because this is not like reforming the history curriculum. You can do that every few years, but when it comes to tech, your syllabus which you introduced today may be obsolete in 6 months or 1 year. So how do you deal with this so quickly and continuously upgrade it?
When you talk about the education system, including the universities, because there is a process for the state universities to change curriculum. I think there are different, as students, but we keep telling the students, because we go out and meet them across the country. And one message we take to them is, just getting your university degree and what your lecturers say is not sufficient anymore in this fast changing world. There are so many different courses out there that are free to learn. You need to arm yourself ready for battle with a host of other things. SLASCOM does to a degree, but alone we can't do everything. And why reinvent the wheel when there is a lot of things out there that can learn? So that's for university students. School curriculum, I think, also, like we were talking earlier, needs to change. I think the government is looking at that, but the change has happened fast. The flip side of the coin is that we need teachers who are capable of teaching.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
So a lot of, I think, investment needs to go into that. One of, I think, our budget asks was the government to increase the GDP expenditure on education and train teachers, because ultimately they are the biggest resource we have.
Absolutely. So, Dhaminda, in terms of Sri Lanka's competitiveness, in order to attract business in tech, how are we doing? I mean, you've got India, you've got Malaysia, you've got so many countries in the region which are already known for tech. Yes. And for big investments. I think there's a massive investment coming to Visakhapatnam, I think something like 10 billion US, which is, I believe, by Google. So when you get a massive project like that, the industry sits up and takes notice. Okay, this is a country that is ready for this kind of investment in technology. But Sri Lanka hasn't got there yet. How do we go down that road? And it's not to invest, not to attract 10 billion investment, but perhaps how do we get to go down that road and achieve something?
Right. So let's see, what would the investor look at for them to come here? What would attract them? So if you look from the talent perspective, then we go back to the education side. How do we kind of upskill our resource base, basically. So they are able to kind of contribute well. like, again, I would say that we have a good talent base. I mean, there are instances where been kind of a showcase as better talent than India in certain projects. But saying that, we don't have the volume. So volume is what we'll have to kind of increase in order to get the interest in. So these days, of course, like a lot of companies are trying to kind of invest into their data centers, so Middle East to India to all those places where they are using AI in a big way, they'll be investing, but these are infrastructure. That's a different story anyway. But when it comes to talent, we'll have to upscale our available resources.
Right. And as an industry, where is our tech industry based? Is it mainly in the Western province? Is it significantly in other provinces yet? How is it? Because now we know that the apparel industry, for example, is fairly widespread around the country, but that was the result of government policy. Tax breaks were given for entrepreneurs who would go and invest in the northwestern province and the north central province and so on. So those factories are still there and running very well. But when it comes to tech, are we still predominantly in the western province, or how does it go?
If we look at the companies, they're based mainly in western province, that's in Colombo area and suburb as well. But if you look at the tech job, nowadays they could work from anywhere, and this hybrid thing, work from home thing, is working in a big way. So we have people coming from wherever the island is, like from Jaffna to southern point, right down to east to west. So it doesn't matter where they are, they're able to work. So I think I have a majority of people who are from different parts of the world, of the country. So we have people coming from the Jaffna Peninsula, and they do travel on and off to work, but mainly they work from home. So that luxury is there for them.
So that's very interesting, because then what you're saying is this is an industry which can be based anywhere.
Exactly.
And you don't need massive infrastructure for it, do you? I mean, obviously you need certain power, broadband and so on.
Yes.
But if it's a work from home situation, it's not like setting up a factory.
Exactly, yes.
Can I just add to that?
Of course.
So during COVID, we just realized that about 70% of our workforce is from outside of the Western province. So which is fantastic, right? That's why he said you can work from home. We have really good infrastructure, telecommunications infrastructure, electricity. I think 99.999% coverage of the country. So we have a lot of advantages on that side. And also our energy, like he was talking about data centers earlier, we have a lot of green energy, right? Up to about 70% of our electricity is generated by hydro.
It's renewable
Energy, sorry, yeah. So other countries can't, there are very few countries that can boast something like that. We are not very good at, again, marketing ourselves. We were talking about, I'm sorry, I'm coming back to all these, but you were talking about India and us. Their branding is very good.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive, and everybody knows about it. In 2018, A.T. Kearney did a research on the Sri Lankan IT industry. And there's a quote that they say they call Sri Lanka the hidden gem, the IT BPM industry. Because hidden gem, why? Because nobody knows about it, but we are really good at it. We have continuously requested, it's a big thing, it's a branding, country branding that needs to be done. Slascom by itself can't do it, so we have requested the government, and I think it's been favorably looked at and it might come through, but it's still late. We are losing, out on a lot of other competitive nations who are known.
Right. I think it's also somewhat cultural. We have this habit of saying Sri Lanka is a lovely place. Come and see. Rather than actually focusing on all our USPs and saying, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, and the other countries don't. We are too nice about it, perhaps. And I mean, if you look at the tourism industry, many tourists are quite stunned when they arrive here and they see what we have to offer, including things like the cleanliness of our streets. I've seen a lot of comments on that on social media recently. So these are not things that we talk about. But in the same way, with tech also, I suppose now, I've never heard what you just said, that we have 70% renewables and therefore that is a USP. I mean, I knew we had 70% renewables, but no one's been actually harping on that and saying, come to Sri Lanka because of that. But it's true, isn't it? You can sort of push those points.
Definitely.
Right. Now, from the point of view of challenges, I mean, what are the major challenges that we have in taking the tech industry forward?
Yeah. Again, the tech industry is based on the resources, so
right.
Human resources, right? So that's a most important thing. It's the creation, right? People have problems. We had to address the problem with a solution. The solution has to be wired up, and how we wire it up is with our intellectual property, to the knowledge, to all that, right? So in order to do that thing right, we have to have the right talent. So talent is what we need to build up. Other than that, market Sri Lanka as a technically capable destination. That's another way of doing it. But we have quite a lot of companies who are based out of America or in Europe, which are based here. Even though they don't make much of noise, they do some cutting edge stuff here. And that's a real talent that Sri Lanka has.
Right, excellent. And we'll expand more on this. But right now we have to take a short commercial break. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
නවක ගායිකා සයුමි මුල්ලේගම ගයනා නිකහෝකේ අප්සානය ගීතය Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube ඇතුළු ඕනෑම සංගීත සේවාවක් කරහා රසවිඳිය හැක.
Entertainments.
ඔය කේතලේ වතුර ටික හදලා ඉවරලා වතුර පුරවලා ඉතිරියා. නැත ඔකට මූණේ කෙමනේ කරලා ගියොත් අපේ මහතේ නවතින්න වෙන්නේ කටුවක්.
ඔයාට ඔය බ්‍රෝකර් වැඩ හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ජගත්ලගේ ආශ්‍රය හරියන්නේ නැහැ.
එයාගේ හිත නොරිදෙන්න දැන් මෙයාව ඩොක්ටර්ට පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳයි අම්මා.
අද රාත්‍රී 8:30ට
සිරස ටෙලිතිරයෙන් ආසියානු ක්‍රිකට් අධිරාජ්‍යයේ අනාගත කිරුළේ උරුමය සහතික කරන මීළඟ ක්‍රීඩා ස්වාදය අනාගත ක්‍රිකට් බලාපොරොත්තුවේ ආසියානු තරු සමග
Asia Cup Rising Stars Men's Qatar 2025
නොවැම්බර් 14 සිට TV1 තිරයෙන් www.sirasatv.lk වෙබ් අඩවිය ඔස්සේද නැරඹිය හැකියි.
ඒතුගෙන් ඈත් වෙලා ඉන්නවා.
හිනා වෙන්න නෙවෙයි. අඬන්න වෙන්නේ මේ කර ගොන් වැඩවලට.
මේ තියෙන ප්ලෑන් එක තමයි අපි තනි කරන එක. අපේ මේ තියෙන කනෙක්ෂන් එක නැති කරන එක. අනිත් ඉසුකොඩිච්චේ තමයි අර උපේක කියන කියන්නේ.
බොරුනේ. මං ඔයාට ඇත්ත කියන්න කියලා කිව්වා.
ඇත්ත තමයි මම මේ කතා කරන්නේ.
අනේ thank you Ranga.
අද රාත්‍රී 9ට සිරස ටෙලිතිරයෙන්
අපි දෙන්න ජොබ් එකෙන් අස් කරොත් අපි දෙන්න ජීවත් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද සර්?
ඒවා හිතන්න තිබුණේ හම්බ කරන් කන දෙනට ඇවිල්ලා අවලං වැඩ කරන්න කලින්.
මොකද අද තනියම
තනියම ආවද තෝ රූම් එකක යන්න.
මිස්ලා කාරක නේද මේ 21.6.
ඔව්.
අන්න ඒක තියෙනවා මීරමිස්ගේ ගෙදර.
මේක කරගන්න වෙන තරම් තිබිලම නේද?
පිස්සු. පුදුම අමාරුවක් උන්ට තිබිලා තියෙනවා.
කොටෝ අද රාත්‍රී 9:30ට සිරස ටෙලිතිරයෙන්.
ඔය කේතලේ වතුර ටික හදලා ඉවරලා වතුර පුරවලා ඉතිරියා. නැත්නම් ඔකට මූණේ කෙමනේ කියලා හිටියොත් අපේ මහතේ නවතින්න වෙන්නේ කටුවක්.
ඔයාට ওই බ්‍රෝකර් වැඩ හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ජගත්ලගේ ආශ්‍රය හරියන්නේ නැහැ.
එයාගේ හිත නොරිදෙන්න දැන් මෙයාව ඩොක්ටර්ට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳයි අම්මා.
අද රාත්‍රී 8:30ට
සිරස ටෙලිතිරයෙන්.
Welcome back to Face to Face. I am speaking with Chaminda De Silva, Executive Director of Slascom, and Dhaminda Siriwardena, who is the Engineering Forum Lead at Slascom. And we are talking about AI and the tech industry and the opportunities that it offers to Sri Lanka. Chaminda, let me ask you, now we know our GDP is growing at a certain rate, and a few days ago at the budget proposal, the president said that he's targeting 7% growth in a few years' time. So that's wonderful, but it'll take us some time to get there. Meanwhile, we're doing 3.5%, 4%, maybe 5% soon, like that. But that's the entire GDP, and different industries are growing at different rates of, it could be 1%, 2%, 10%, whatever. How fast is technology growing? The tech industry, what can we expect from it? Is it going to be ambling along at 2%, or is it going to be more like 10%?
From what I understand is that the tech industry is growing at a double-digit rate. It's a industry that has passed since for about 30 years plus, and continuously, even during all the challenges that Sri Lanka was facing over that period, it grew at double-digit growth rates. So, and currently as well, I think the central bank statistics showed from the previous quarter to this quarter, I think the industry had grown at about 18%.
So that's a fabulous growth rate, isn't it? And do you feel that more resources, more focus should be placed on the tech industry? Because we have our traditional industries, I mean, including agriculture and so on, but nothing seems to be growing this fast. So would you invite a lot more focus on this?
I think there is a lot of focus on the industry. The regulatory authorities have identified the IT, the tech industry as one of the thrust industries. For example, Slascom is for export-oriented companies, and you will see that we create value at about 70 to 80%, because we don't have to import anything other than a little bit of hardware. Rest of it is all kept in Sri Lanka, so we value add a lot to back to Sri Lanka on that. So that, I think that is something that has been identified, and it's very easy for a company to come in. We get quite a lot of interest, and recently we have spoken to a lot of people who ask us about, so what is it about Sri Lanka, what is there, why should we come? And we always meet with these potential parties and try to convince them, and like you said, when they come to Sri Lanka, They actually like the place, they like the people, and even if it is a small center, they would like to set it up here. So what we are looking at is maybe something like India +1. Set up in India, but have a little team down in Sri Lanka. Again, the distance is very short. Sometimes if you're in the south of India, coming to Sri Lanka is much closer than going back to the north.
Right. I think we have several flights a day now from South India, especially. So it's, it's just half an hour, 45 minutes, or maybe an hour's flight. So, like as you said, it's very fast to get in here and out as well. Now, Dhaminda, let me ask you, the tech industry globally is focused mainly on the US. The big companies, the world's largest companies, are mainly there. So is it the focus of our tech industry to get more clients from the US, or are we looking at other countries as well in order to get business?
Yeah, I think main go-to place is the North America, but saying that the other countries are opening up as well. So Europe is another big market for us. Australasia side, there's a lot of potential happening there. Even in the Africas, there's a lot of potentials coming. But America, being America, it has been with the tech industry for a very long time. So there's lots of opportunities, because sometimes we may take part in a American project, a company takes over, that might kind of supply the rest of the world. Example, Microsoft.
Right.
Microsoft is worldwide, I mean Google to all that, but we may be building certain components of that. So that's how the whole thing works.
Right. And now there was a time when you make a finished product in one country, but that's hardly the case anymore. Whether it's apparel or tea or whatever, it is a global supply chain. And that is very apparent now, because you get one product with the components are built in many countries. And one criticism of Sri Lanka as a whole is that we are not fully integrated with the global supply chain. Our apparel industry is to a great extent, but many other industries haven't quite got integrated. But in the case of tech, have we got integrated into it properly, or do we need to integrate some more?
We are integrated in a way, because the entire tech industry has moved on to the cloud. The cloud can be in any part of the world. Your servers might be in North America or probably in South India. So the work or the products that are built on these platforms. So we have quite well integrated, and I guess we are very much there on that.
Right. Chaminda, you mentioned the conference which is coming up on Wednesday, at which of course there will be, I think, something like 300 participants. Would you like to tell us some more about it?
Correct. So last year's, I just know the numbers from last year's conference. We had close to 400 participants. We have also been recognized by the Impact AI conference that's going to be held in India this year. It's a global conference. This year it was in Paris, so 2026 it will be in India, and we are recognized as an official pre-summit. So that shows that it is a very good summit. We are also having breakouts for manufacturing, banking and finance, and engineering. So we have different panels for those, as well as we are looking at there will be more general case studies shared during the day as well. And what is great about this summit is it's mainly Sri Lankans, like Dhaminda referred to, there being Sri Lankans overseas as well who are experts in those fields, and they are coming down as well. So it is a showcase of Sri Lankan talent, and also to learn, because they are going to share their case studies. What have they done with AI and what have they progressed with? And
I think the theme of the conference is AI in action, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Right. I think. And now this is an annual conference.
That's right.
Would you like to tell us something about the history of it?
So it started in 2018 under the patronage of our past chairman, Mr. Jeevan Yanam. And at that summit, a white paper was done on a national AI policy, and it was presented to the then government. We created the AI Center of Excellence within SLASCOM, and most of the people we had on that AI Center of Excellence were the people who went on to creating the national AI policy. They are the experts on that. So we have been continuously, it's more than a summit. We have continuously been engaged with government, academia, industry, and students to grow it. So that's the impact that we are making. It's not how many AI companies have you created, it's how many people who know about AI and use AI to, generate more income, whether it's in tech or whether it's in any other industry.
Right, and Newsfirst is of course the official media partner of this conference, and the theme is AI in action. And it's a one-day conference, so you're packing quite a lot into that one day, aren't you? So many different breakaway sessions and so on.
Yes, so a person can choose which breakaway they go to. We will also be recording it so that participants who didn't go for a breakout might be able to, watch it later. The following day, we have a post-summit event. We are doing a workshop on AI in healthcare. It's done from a resource expert from Google who they use AI in healthcare. So we are inviting people from the medical field, administrators to researchers to anybody who would like to learn about it. So the next day we have the post-summit on that as well. Yes, there is a lot.
Yes.
But there is...
Dhaminda, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the other events that SLASCOM has? Because this is, of course, this is one of the major events that you have on your calendar, but there are a number of other events you have throughout the year, which are not only in Colombo.
Yes, so I could actually highlight on the engineering forum side, since we organize it. So like I said before, these are knowledge sharing sessions, because we have a very little hands-on sessions, but what we're trying to do here is to get the industry experts in and have gatherings where they will kind of share their experience. For instance, we run a real-world tech program that's mainly focused for university fresh grads and young engineers. So they talk about their experience. We select a certain series of topics. So one kind of relates to the other and goes on like a series. And there we bring in a panel, and they share their practical experience. What they did right, what they went wrong, how did they overcome that, stuff like that. We had quite a following from the university groups on this, and it's recorded and it's available for viewing from the SLASCOM site as well. So likewise, it's sharing knowledge is what we are focusing on right now.
Right. And we are almost out of time. Could I have your final thoughts on the summit, which is happening on Wednesday, and what it's going to do in terms of boosting the tech industry and awareness in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, so this year, since it's AI in action, what we are looking at is how do we give away the experience people had in implementing, executing AI solutions. And nowadays there are a lot of people who wants to get on the AI bandwagon, but they're reluctant because they don't know what would happen. Would it go right? Would it go wrong? Would the investment go down the drain? So what we are trying to do here is to try and give everybody a real overview of it and see how well they could use it. And after summit, probably networking sessions, they can get one-on-one interactions with these panelists and be more aware of the AI industry, the technology.
Right. And Chaminda, what about your final thoughts? And I'd also like you to touch on any foreign expertise or delegates who are going to attend.
So like I said, the Impact Asia conference in India that's going to be held next year will be from with the Ministry of Technology in India. So the secretary couldn't make it this time. So he is sending another envoy, Mr. Prakash Kumar, who will be speaking at the event. He has both government as well as industry, private sector expertise as well. We have a couple of resources coming from different companies that we have, but from global speakers. And then we have people like Dr. Rukshan Batuvita, who are Sri Lankans who are based overseas and doing quite well, who are coming here to share the experience. So like I said, it's mainly Sri Lankans, but there are 1 or 2 non-Sri Lankans speaking as well.
Right. And as Executive Director of SLASCOM, you must be quite excited at the prospect of this summit.
Yes. It's not without challenges, because if you would see, Sri Lanka being a very small country has had so many AI related big summits over the past couple of months, and it looked as if the run up to our event would be very difficult, but I think we have a following because we have been doing it over the years, and it's an industry summit. People have seen the value in attending. So it's going to be fantastic, and look forward to seeing most of you there. If you have not, please visit the SLASCOM website and you can find out how you can attend and see you there.
Right, and I'm afraid we are out of time. My thanks to Chaminda De Silva, Executive Director of SLASCOM, and Dhaminda Siriwardena, who is the Engineering Forum Lead at SLASCOM. Thank you very much for being with us this evening and educating and creating awareness of the opportunities of the tech industry in Sri Lanka. And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.